Let's dive into today's top story. Let's talk about this. So today is Victory Day in Russia. May 9th. May 9th is the day when Russia celebrates the surrender of Nazi Germany in World War II. But of course, in 2023, if you live in other European countries who were freed of German tyranny, you might get in trouble or even arrested for even acknowledging that Russia saved your asses. Like, literally. Like, we can't even talk about that anymore. Or I mean, we're going to go through some of these stories. These stories are unbelievable from the past 24 hours. But first, some context in all of this. May 8th, May 9th, 1945, as word spread of Hitler's defeat, spontaneous parades and celebrations, singing and dancing broke out, of course, all over Europe, from Paris to Berlin to Chicago to New York to Moscow to Kiev. Soldiers who fought Nazism could barely believe the news. My dad ended up going to Nuremberg right after the war and having to secure all of those fields and all of the parade grounds where Hitler was marching right through Nuremberg. My dad literally took over an SS barracks, slept in the beds of former Nazis. Like, we're here now. We're here now. Crazy, crazy times. The greatest evil in the world that we had ever seen was now defeated in Europe. And they all had surrendered because they were destroyed. They were surrounded, crushed after 6 long years. And news finally started to grow that Germans had built massive camps where day after day, hour after hour, women, children, men were brought in by rail car. Systemically, told that they were being given new jobs, a better life. You know, we're getting you out of the ghetto. Where you are here, you're in a much better place now. Oh, thank God. Thank God. We're glad we're here. Those are the sounds of what people said as they arrived on these rail cars. Oh, good. We're in a better place. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Nazis even told them, hey, leave your luggage here on this ramp. Someone will take it for you. Don't worry about it. We just got to get you processed and get you into the shower, get you a nice shower, and then you'll be reunited with your clothes. We'll give you some brand new clothing. Everything will be fine. What about my 5-year-old child? Don't worry. We'll send your 5-year-old child over there, and you'll be reunited later after you get a shower and process. Don't worry about it. Well, we know how that ended, right? Because those kids were never reunited with their parents, and then they were all gassed and killed. That's exactly what happened. Just walk into this shower over here, and you'll get some new clothes after you come out. But, of course, they never came out. So I can only imagine, we can't imagine, but can you imagine living during this time period? Can you imagine living during this time when we had learned that this evil had been defeated? And for many people, millions of people around the world didn't even know the stories of the evil, the horror of all of this. In Poland specifically, but, and not just Poland, but of course all over. It must have been an amazing time to live through. Like, we can look at it in 2023 with some different kind of glasses now, but imagine just trying to put yourself in that moment. It's kind of hard to do, really. It's hard to imagine that kind of evil. If you live in other Western countries, though, today, you might have had some passing reminder of this day, maybe in the United States or other places, a passing reminder of it, but not in Russia, because today everything stops, where everyone pauses to remember the over 24 million Russians who died fighting the Nazis. Like, that's not a small number. 24 million. The country of Portugal has a current population of between 10 and 11 million. So take one Portugal and then double it. That's how many Russian soldiers and civilians died in World War II. About 10 million soldiers and about 14 million civilians died. Can you imagine? No other country even comes close, not even close to the amount of death that they had to go through. No frame of reference. I mean, think about it. For America, the United States, 418,000 deaths total.
For World War II.
For World War II. The United Kingdom, 450,000 total. Russia, 24 million.
But our history is taught as if the United States sacrificed greatly in order to fight against Nazi Germany, which is true. It's an important part of American pride, of British pride. So you have to wonder, when you get close to these celebrations, why the United States has never had much to do with these celebrations around May 8th and 9th.
It is surprising. It really is. And in the year 2023, it's even worse, because if you live in a Western nation right now, or Ukraine, you'll be punished or censored if you try to honor or raise a Russian flag. The censorship is out of control. If you want to celebrate the defeat of the Nazis, something that united a lot of the Western world back then, well, because in 2023, the evil you fought against is back now. The strength of the neo-Nazi movement is the strongest it's been in Europe since World War II. That's a fact. And NATO countries are openly supporting and militarizing it today. On Victory Day, of all days, the United States just announced a new massive weapons package, an aid package to Ukraine. This came today. Great timing, United States. Today, the Department of Defense announced a new security assistance package to reaffirm the steadfast U.S. support for Ukraine, including to bolster its air defenses and sustain its artillery ammunition needs, because it's out of ammo. This package, which totals up to $1.2 billion, is being provided under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. And the EU president, Ursula von der Leyen, today showed up on a train to Ukraine to reaffirm the weapons and money to Ukraine. Here she is.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen marked Europe Day by visiting the Ukrainian capital Kyiv on Tuesday for talks with President Volodymyr Zelensky. The 27-nation bloc traditionally marks peace and unity on May the 9th. Overnight, Russian attacks on Kyiv prompted the US ambassador to Ukraine to take a swipe at Moscow.
So here we are, once again, more weapons, more aid packages showing up. Like, that's the message they're sending. The U.S. is sending.
Well,
and so is you. Yeah.
What's infuriating to me is that you have Russia, who was fighting for the world, basically, right? The United States goes in last minute and takes the credit, but also our main focus was to build bases to surround Russia. So that was our focus there. And then we started NATO shortly after.
Oh, right.
Which was like another slap in the face. And it's like, we continually just slap these people in the face that sacrifice more than we ever have to protect the whole entire world.
You know, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this in the chat. Let us know if you think about the amount of money that's being poured into this. And of course, setting up all of those NATO bases is exactly the goal. The surrounding, when Russia or the Soviet Union even asked to become a part of NATO, which they did, they hemmed and hawed and said, no, thanks. We need a new boogeyman, essentially. So no, we can't do that. We can't do that. In Poland, the Russian ambassador was blocked when he tried to lay flowers at the cemetery today where the Soviets died liberating Poland of Nazis. Virtually all of Poland in its pre-war boundaries had been liberated by Soviet forces by the end of January of 1945. Thanks to the Soviets, Poland then was their boundaries put back to pre-war boundaries.
Thanks to the Soviets, Poland is Poland.
Exactly.
And not Germany.
And of course, it became a communist country after that, and you could talk about that, but it was liberated thanks to what Russia did, or what the Soviet Union did at the time. It was the Soviets who liberated Poland. Just for a frame of reference, the Nazis set up 6 extermination camps in occupied Poland. If you've forgotten, here are some names that might ring a bell. Auschwitz, Treblinka. Look at your screen. Just a few of them. Have you ever heard of them? A lot of Polish Jews did, of course. 3.5 million were murdered in these Polish death camps. And the killing only stopped, by the way, at these camps when the sound of Soviet guns could be heard in the distance, as reported in Auschwitz. That's literally, the killing continued right up into the last possible moment when the Soviets arrived.
Okay, I want to point out this comment in the chat. Mike Andrews asks, is Redacted a Russian bot? All we've done is give you a history of this day that you apparently don't like listening to.
Right.
That's an amazing comment. That just, this is an inconvenient history. I don't like it. You must be a Russian bot. Amazing.
Right. Literally everything I've just laid out to you is a fact about what happened in World War II.
History that we are supposed to apparently not like.
But this is exactly the problem, right? This is exactly the whitewashing of history that's happening right now. And you're watching it, you're watching it. Are we in favor of communism? Absolutely not. It's a scourge. It's an absolute scourge.
Right.
Right. So no, we're not promoting like the Soviet Union No, we're talking about the sacrifice and actually what happened in World War II. Facts are facts.
And it's extremely uncomfortable to Europeans to acknowledge those facts in this climate. And we refuse to, move away from it because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So if that makes us a Russian bot.
I personally still just like to believe that it was Teddy Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln that single-handedly won World War II, just the two of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
they were contemporaries. Yeah, when Teddy Roosevelt got together with Abraham Lincoln and they said, we are going to end World War II. And they did it. It was amazing. It was an amazing moment. It really was. So we all understand our history here. We're all on the same page.
In Ipanema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here is the Russian ambassador. This is an amazing moment today. Here's the Russian ambassador in Poland trying to lay some flowers at the cemetery. It's not going to happen. Watch this. Well, not going to be able to let through. It's just, I'd like to lay some flowers for the Soviets that liberated Poland. Can I do that? Because they all died here. Do you mind if I go lay some flowers on the cemetery that's right here? No, we won't let you through. In Germany, the government banned any signs of Russian flags or Russian-related iconography, but you will be allowed to wave a Ukrainian flag on Victory Day because this is a clown world that we live in, apparently. In Germany, of all places, here's the New York Times. A ban on Russian flags at Victory Day events in Berlin is restored because they had a court injunction where the people were like, wait a second, no, we want to be able to wave Russian flags on have a parade on Victory Day. No, sorry, you can't do that. Specifically, the Berlin police announced a ban on symbols, uniforms, songs, flags that could be seen to support Russia on Victory Day. The ban initially included Ukrainian flags, chants, and military songs, but a court ruling overturned those restrictions after a public outcry. No, we need to be able to wave the Ukrainian flag on Victory Day. Okay. And the police opted not to challenge that decision.
Think of what flag they'd be waving if it wasn't for the Russians. I mean, potentially still to this day.
Yeah. In Germany, of all places. Right?
Right.
Absolutely the case. Pro-Russian activists then went to court, obtained an injunction to allow the display of Russian symbols, including flags. But then on Monday, a higher court overturned it and reinstated the ban on Russian and Soviet symbols, according to the DPA, the German news service. So don't wave a Russian flag in Germany or you'll be arrested or fined.
No Russian dressing, no Russian twists.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing like that.
You better not do that. You'll get in trouble.
Those little Russian dolls. You can't do any of that.
No Russian nesting dolls.
You can't do any of that. In Ukraine, Zelensky has canceled the celebrations of the defeat of the Nazis in World War II. You're not allowed to show your patriotism if you fought Germany back then. But too many old Ukrainians told Zelensky to go F himself. It's actually pretty funny to see a lot of these old guys who are like, excuse me, Zelensky, you dress in high heels and are a comedian. I fought Nazis. I will put on what I want to put on. I will wear what I want to wear. I lost a leg. My friends were killed. I will dress up. Here's one Ukrainian. Here's a Ukrainian saying, sorry, Zelensky. No, I'm taking these flowers to the grave. He didn't try to hide it. He'd faced Nazis. He's not listening to Zelensky. He got dressed up, bought flowers, even took the train to the cemetery to pay his respects to his fallen brothers. Today at the Victory Parade in Moscow, standing beneath the Kremlin building, of course, which was just attacked by NATO, Putin spoke about the rise of the very same ideologies that they fought against in World War II. So listen to this speech. This is a translated version of it, but take a listen.
The Western globalist elites still talk about their exclusivity. They provoke conflicts. They provoke bloody conflicts and coups. They sow seeds of hatred, Russophobia, and aggressive nationalism. They destroy traditional family values that make humans humans. They do all this to continue dictating and enforcing their will upon nations, their rules, which is essentially a system of pillage and suppression. They seem to have forgotten what the Nazis' crazy claims for world supremacy brought to. who unleashed this total evil and who stood to defend their home, their motherland, and sacrificed their lives to defend and protect nations.
So there you go. That was Putin today. And on this day, Victory, I was reminded of this brave Ukrainian. This is a brave Ukrainian World War II veteran who last year, this video resurfaced today. People were sharing it. I thought it was poignant. He confronted and stood up to a current Ukrainian colonel and basically was asking him how could he support neo-fascists and the Nazis that are in the army now, like in that country. Like, what did I fight for? What did I lose a leg for? What did I take a bullet to the head for? You guys are literally joined up with the very people we fought against in World War II. Listen to this old Ukrainian.
Ти ж воював за мене, да? Я ж воював, я ж у крові лежав, отако. Руку одірвало, живіт розірвало, 2 дірки в голові, ногу одрізали. А? За що ж я воював, скажіть, товариш полковник?
Can you walk over here, please? Just get out of my face.
Oh, I'd never seen that.
Unbelievable, right? Just gives me chills. It brings like tears to my eyes. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this Victory Day in Europe and how we're being told different stories about this, how it's being whitewashed right before our eyes, and how the Western media chooses to cover it on this day. So I would love to hear some comments from you guys in the chat. Let us know your thoughts on this. So someone was saying, hey, Clayton, can you please correct the Polish death camps comment? And I'm just not clear what you mean by that. Unless I'm wrong on the number, I believe it was six concentration camps, unless the number is off. I think do we have that map again of the 6 Nazi camps inside of Poland that the Nazis set up inside of occupied Poland? Yeah, I don't know exactly what. Am I missing something here? Just want to make sure that I'm not missing something. Yeah, there is 6. If I miscounted or something, just let me know. But I apologize. And that according to that is according to the War Memorial Foundation and of course the Holocaust Remembrance data. So just to be sure, I got those numbers specifically. So, and by the way, I just finished reading a book on Auschwitz called Escape from Auschwitz, and it is mind-blowing. It's an amazing book. I highly recommend it. Going back to my history degree in college and my history of the Holocaust classes, and that's what it reminded me of. But it's a jaw-dropping book. If anyone's interested in, needs a moment or is not familiar with what happened, it's worth looking up. It's worth reading the book, Escape from Auschwitz. It's really amazing. Any other comments about this? I'm just curious, popping in here that I missed, or my glasses. Anything? They were labor camps. I don't believe they were just. Yeah, they were extermination camps. They were not labor. Yes,
that person and I have very differing opinions on what labor is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were not Polish death camps. Well, what do you mean? You don't mean that Polish people didn't die there? Is that what you're saying? I'm just curious what you mean by that. They were in Poland, so just be clear about that. Just want to make sure. Are you saying that they weren't in Poland? I'm unclear when someone says they're not. Yes,
possibly just talking about ownership. They were Nazi death camps, not Polish death camps. Maybe that's what they're referring to. That
they weren't
ownership of
run
the camps
by Poland. They were invaded, and camps were put there.
Yeah, in the same
way Italy was invaded by Nazis and then actually spread it into Africa themselves.
Yeah.
And so, incidentally, did you know that the first country that was liberated by the Allies was Ethiopia, because the Italians were there?
Yeah, people are saying, oh, no, Auschwitz was not in Poland. People in the chat are saying Auschwitz is not in Poland. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, really? You don't think that Auschwitz was in Poland? Oh, some people saying, yeah, they're freedom camps. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable, like I don't know, the whitewashing, the sort of dusting over of history. It's kind of crazy. But yes, I would think that Auschwitz was actually in Poland, unless they moved it and I didn't know about that. But just Yeah.
I think we're getting in the weeds here. The main point of this segment is the mainstream media in the West rewriting history on an important day of remembrance. And even if it's inconvenient history, you have to ask who benefits from rewriting this history in order to get you to continue to support one side of a war or support your defense or your antagonism of another side.
Yes.
So we refuse to do that, even if the history is inconvenient for whatever narrative that is being pushed on us.
Yeah.
Yes.
I find a lot of people don't even want to have the discussion. They don't want a history lesson. And the thing is, like, the most important thing you can do is learn the history, because the only way you can keep it from repeating is if you know about it, you learn from it, and you try not to do it again.
Yes. Yes, it's important for people who are maybe confused about, absolutely, it was German occupying Poland. It's not the Polish that, okay, just to be clear, just so there's no confusion about that. It was the Nazis who occupied Poland, just to be clear on this. Okay, it seems to be some confusion there. I just want to be clear. Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.